billion to their so-called Galamsey board, that gold board that they established. What is it for? Because there's no budget for his ministry. How are they going to implement the Nkukon Kitinkiti? Go and pay the contractors. The contractors must get back on the road. Government construction project must resume. Pay the contractors and stop. And the slight stability of the city, now claimed as the Mahama miracle, is nothing more than a byproduct of a weakening US dollar on the global stage.
This is Magical GH. Magical GH. And I will be your papa. Subscribe Nestle. Magical.
Thank you very much, our National Communications Director. Let me, on behalf of the National Chairman of the New Patriotic Party and also the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, welcome you all to the New Patriotic Party's headquarters. We also welcome the leadership of the mighty minority, led by Osahene Alexander Bawumia Afenyo Markin. Let me, on behalf of the party, say that we appreciate the work they are doing in Parliament, the commitment, the dedication. Yes, we know that we are few in Parliament, but we also know that we are mighty minority. And indeed, they have worked and they have achieved this particular name. We have had an effective collaboration with our minority caucus in Parliament. And today is a manifestation of such commitment and collaboration. The President yesterday set some questions for himself, and then afterwards he graded himself and said that 100% or so. But today we have the mighty minority here. Here are the MPP's headquarters to respond and to also let Ghanaians know that for the past 4 months, it is rather bitter 100 days. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, our friends, our cherished friends from the media, we welcome you all here. Let me boldly welcome the minority leader, Honorable Alexander Bawumia Afenyo Markin, Osahene, to give us the 120 bitter days of the NDC led by John Dramani Mahama. Hello?
Thank you very much, national organizer of our party, director of communications, and other members of the national executive here for this collaboration that has resulted in this engagement to let the people of Ghana know that great betrayal of the NDC government, the 120 days of a bitter Ghana under President John Dramani Mahama. As we've already been told by the national organizer yesterday, Mr. President marked his own script, a script that the questions were said by him, and after that, he gave himself a mark. This morning, we are here to expose all the lies, the falsehood, and the inconsistencies. We call it NDC's great deception, from their own social contract to a social collapse. 120 days of bitter government under John Dramani Mahama. In the lead up to the 2024 general elections, candidate John Dramani Mahama released a document titled Mahama's First 120 Days Social Contract. It was marketed as a sacred pledge, a hard-coded promise to the Ghanaian people, time-bound and specific. It was designed to inspire trust, rekindle hope, and restore the image of a party that was seeking for another opportunity to rule this country. The NDC promised to scrap taxes like COVID-19 levy. They pledged to ban illegal mining, slash import duties, revive industrialization, launch mass employment programs, hold public officials accountable, increase cocoa prices. Not the least, they promised the people of Ghana a 24-hour economy under 133, one job, 3 shifts. Then on January 7, 2025, standing before the Republic, His Excellency declared, quote, "I intend to tell you the truth," end quote. He claimed he would act with, quote, "decisiveness and restore," quote, "faith in institutions and initiate what he called a national reset." But after 120 days of his presidency, the truth is brutally clear. The social contract was a political bait and a switch, a glossy list of promises not meant to be fulfilled, but merely to be flaunted, exploited, and forgotten. 1, the taxes remain. 2, contractors remain unpaid. 3, illegal mining rages on, no state of emergency in sight. 4, industries continue to suffer. 5, unreliable power supply, what I call Doomsday Pro Max, is unfolding. Further, the job creation pledges have turned into press releases without action. The cocoa prices, the farmers who were promised that 3,000 per bag of cocoa was going to increase to 6,000 per bag, have also been disappointed. And the slight stability of the cedi, now claimed as the Mahama miracle, is nothing more than a byproduct of a weakening US dollar on the global stage. This, fellow Ghanaians, is not a matter of political disagreement. It is a matter of deliberate national deception And as you are well aware, this is not just a speech, it is a call to remembrance and resistance. It is a forensic audit of the presidency that campaigned with the agency of a reformer, but now governs with the indifference of a ruler long exhausted by ideas. I dare say that the lame dark days of President John Dramani Mahama has already started. Today, what we urge Ghanaians to do is to rise up to defend the Republic. And above all, what is happening today is a clear warning. And we will not sit quietly while the will of the people is traded for political convenience. The youth of Ghana deserve tools, not talking points. Now, power sector sabotage. From light to darkness. From light to darkness. When Ghanaians say let there be light, the NDC say let there be darkness. So we have a Dumso Pro Max. Darkness, darkness, darkness. Mr. President promised to fix Ghana's energy crisis. He accused his predecessor of failure. Although NPP came to meet Dumso and fixed the Dumso, yet during the campaign, Mr. President and his party rather accused NPP of not keeping the lights on. But let's all be honest with ourselves. The last 120 days, we have seen persistent power outages, low voltage, and silence in the face of national inconvenience. Not a single moment, a single day, has the energy minister addressed the Ghanaian people on the energy crisis. Where is the energy minister? Is he lost in this darkness? We are taking a torchlight looking for the energy minister. We cannot find the energy minister. Mr. Energy Minister, where are you? Bring back our lights. The emerging power crisis during the second term of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama obviously will be deeper, and it appears that it's going to be darker and deadlier. Across the country, businesses are gradually grinding to a halt, industries are scaling back production, and hospitals are struggling to save lives without consistent electricity. Yet they go to the hospitals and all they know is sacking the chief executives. Sack them. Sack them. Sack them. That is all that the ministers are doing. Targeting chief executives and sacking them instead of putting on the light. Home appliances are burning out. Livelihoods are vanishing. And the national mood is collapsing under the weight of government inaction. What we are seeing today is not intermittent disruption. It is a national emergency. And yet, the Mahama administration continues to offer excuses instead of solutions. Instead of resolving the problems, he recites blames like a broken record. Ghanaians deserve lights, not lectures. Leadership is action, not endless lamentation and blame game. Mr. President, NDC government, bring back our lights. You were not elected to lament. You were elected to do the work and fix the light and fix the problem. You promised in your sonar that you were going to fix the problems. You are not fixing the problems. Fix the problems. Now, assault on the judiciary, the rule of law under siege. His Excellency promised, quote, reset the faith in leaders and institutions, end quote. I repeat, His Excellency promised reset of faith in leaders
end institutions. But what do we see? He has instead launched a chilling offensive against the judicial independence, attempting to hound the Chief Justice out of office under contrived pretexts while pushing through a 7 hand-picked appointment to the Supreme Court. It has never happened in our democracy where the president makes a direct appointment and more or less coerces the Judicial Council to swiftly, whether they like it or not, approve of same. The practice has always been that nominations are made by various stakeholders. The Ghana Bar has an input. The Office of the Chief Justice has an input. The Judicial Council itself has an input. The government, the president acting through the Attorney General makes an input. And all these names are deliberated upon, discussed in detail, and a recommendation ferried to the president for further action. May I refer the government to the matter of Ghana Bar Association versus Attorney General, where Thaddeus Sori, the lead counsel for Ghana Bar, made strong arguments on this matter. It was a situation where the Judicial Council had made some recommendations in a certain order of merit for the president to exercise the discretion of appointment. And even so, the Ghana Bar questioned the exercise of discretion and argued, among others, that since there was an order of merit upon which the recommendation was mounted, the president couldn't have chosen from the bottom, because we have my Lord Mafosau, we had Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, followed by my Lord Yawapao, and then lastly Mr. Scott Puaman, as he then was. Yet the president chose from the bottom 2, and Ghana Bar challenged this at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that, well, that recommendation was an advice, and to the extent that all of those 4 individuals were recommended to the president could choose from the bottom. The president could choose anybody and was not bound by the order of merit. So clearly, a procedure, a practice as to how a justice of the Supreme Court is appointed is known. So why would the president write a letter that he's made appointment and urges that upon the Judicial Council to, at all costs, approve of same? This is very rich. The president and his government are not on a journey of reform. They are doing court packing. This is dictatorship disguised as democracy. And we, the minority, will not stand for it. Now, they are silencing dissent. The return of iron fists. They promised that they will allow free speech. But today, even political opponents are threatened. They will send their attack dogs on radio. When they think that you are being critical of them, they start to threaten you. Even journalists come under attack. The Secretary General of TUC, who boldly echoed the views of organized labor, is under attack. Even the views expressed by GBA also came under attack. And then they find a way of using social media to spread fake news and falsify information and crush genuine views expressed to shape governance. But let me remind Mr. President that in his own inaugural address, he called for accountability and promised to fight corruption. Yet, as I've already said, journalists are being harassed. Opposition MPs, like my brother John Intimfo recently became a target because he had raised a critical national issue, which required
the security agencies to engage constructively. They personalized it and they made him a target. It was an eyesore when they unleashed NIB officials at his residence, wielding guns and wearing masks. Did we go or did we come? What we are experiencing is another vendetta, and this is not justice, an opportunity for all Ghanaians, rather persecution. They promise constitutional reform, but we don't trust them. What they are doing is not constitutional reform, but they are attempting to create a Trojan horse for perhaps, if not lifetime presidency, a third-term presidency. Already, we have heard the national chairman of the NDC complaining bitterly about the internal struggle for succession. The NDC is abandoning governance and rather thinking of their party interests. Why would the national chairman, no less a person than Mr. Asedu Nkatia, boldly go on radio in less than 90 days be talking about that internal problem? We are also aware that another group in the NDC are pushing for a third term for President Dramani Mahama. Is the reason why, instead of the promised governance and constitutional reforms, we are seeing a new agenda. What we know is that there is a sinister and diabolical plot firmly underway to tighten the president's grip on power and prolong his days in office. So they knew that the firmness of the Chief Justice, 6 billion to their so-called Galamsey board, that gold board that they established. What is it for? Convert $275 million into cedis and get the cedi. They abandoned their own flagship initiatives and agriculture. Agriculture in the budget, they only allocated a paltry sum of 1.5 billion cedis. Even if you break the 1.5 billion cedis down, 950 million alone is for compensation. So the Eric Opoku, the agri minister, sitting at the ministry, is a redundant minister. I don't know the work that the agri minister is doing at the ministry, because there's no budget for his ministry. How are they going to implement the Nkukwan Kitinkiti? And then they loaded a lot of money under that so-called big push, which we are going to scrutinize. They did nothing for agriculture. They did nothing for the women banking. Yet they are promoting Galamsey. How do you say that you are establishing a gold board that is going to buy equipment for small-scale miners? How? It is a requirement. Go and read the Minerals Commission Act. If you want to go into mining, one of the requirements is to show your financial capability. You must show that you have the means to go into mining. So if a government tells you that it's going to buy equipment for miners, you should take it with a pinch of salt. What they are telling us indirectly is that their party boys involved in Galamsey are going to get equipment, and they say they are going to give them soft loans. Really? Government going to give loans for mining? They should tell us plainly that they are rather buying equipment, giving them money to promote Galamsey, and that is what we see. Now, they themselves are undertaking some false praise and making some claims. They claim that the cedi is strong because of the government's effort. I am a businessman. I will be happy any day if our local currency is strong, because that would help grow the business of Ghanaians, including me, who is a private sector player. But that is not the case. In this government administration, we know
all they know is deceit. They are claiming credit for what they have not achieved. We know on the global stage, the US dollar itself is having its own challenges. Recently, the ICE US dollar index, measuring the dollar's strength against a basket of major currencies, indicated that the US dollar has slipped below 100 as market rule from rising sell America sentiment. The dollar is weakening not because the cedi is strong, but because investors are losing faith in the greenback itself. As Nigel Green, CEO of the VIA Group, warned just last week, quote, "Dollar dominance is being critically diluted. Trump's erratic tariff policies, investor disillusionment with US equities and bonds, and global power realignment are fueling this slow but seismic shifts," end quote. So this is not an NDC miracle. This is a global monetary turbulence. This is currency recalibration on a planetary scale. So I'm telling the finance minister, go and pay the suppliers. Go and pay the contractors. The contractors must get back on the road. Government construction project must resume. Pay the contractors and stop holding back people's money. Now, there may be some few steps forward. We, as a responsible minority, will be objecting. What are those few steps forward? Well, we are aware that they managed to take away the e-levy, betting tax and emission levy, that they have said so. But the real issue is that the promise of no academic fee policy for first year students, they continue to talk about it. Have those students had the refunds made? When Akufo-Addo promised free SHS, it was contained in his first year's budget. On the import duties, we go on these broken promises on import duties and the COVID-19 levy. In his inaugural speech, the president acknowledged the pain of Ghanaians, promising to change the destiny of this nation of ours. But this government continues to allow what he had called during his days in opposition, crashing levies and regressive taxes on the backs of the sovereign people of Ghana. He promised to review and reduce import duties to make easier for traders, importers and consumers. He has not. He promised to abolish the COVID-19 health recovery levy because the pandemic is long past and the people's pockets are exhausted. He has not. Instead, this government has maintained and even compounded the cost of living for every Ghanaian household. Prices continue to surge, markets remain unstable, and traders groan under taxes that, by his own standards, serve no current purpose but enrich a bloated state machinery. Promises under the NDC government are no more sacred. They are just tools for winning elections and excuses for not governing. Betrayal of industrialization, killing jobs, killing hope. The president pledged in January to implement a 24-hour economy to stimulate, quote, to stimulate local industries and attract investment, end quote. But instead of building upon the 1D1F initiative, a bold, pragmatic program that used tax incentives to ignite industrialization across Ghana, the government of President Mahama has shelved it. The government has discarded it, abandoned it, and killed it. Factories that were planned under the previous administration now sit idle. Investment plans have stalled. Thousands of potential jobs have vanished before they could materialize. The message to investors in our economy is loud and clear. You are not safe
here anymore. Mr. President, your reset is not a lifeline for the economy. It is suffocating lockdown on production. You are not creating jobs. You are killing them. Now it is rich to hear the president tell us in Sona that the flagship project, the flagship program, 24-hour economy, also